so hopefully this is it, but it'll be side by side, but never mind. There we go. We are live. Hello everyone, welcome.
Hi.
We're just here to have a quick chat, a brief chat about release. So releasing the resistance, I guess we're talking about, aren't we, Rosa?
Yeah, and also like releasing what doesn't serve you anymore. I mean, I think as humans, we're great at hanging on to things that have happened to us in the past. And they don't serve us anymore because what's in the past is in the past. And we tend to hang on and let it go over and over and over in our head. Have I just hit?
Absolutely. Well, having spent this week, my week off clearing my house out, I'm getting rid of 6 boxes of books.
Wow.
Now, I love books, but I'm not going to read them again. I've kept the ones I might read again. You don't need that many books, and they could come in handy for other people. 6 boxes, and they're big boxes, and they're packed. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. So I'm quite lucky. My daughter's very, very, she's very much get rid. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but
and it's kind of what I need, because actually, if I'm going to move into a smaller house, because that's my plan, I don't need all this stuff. And I listen to books nowadays, and things change, don't they? And as much as I love books, when I'm not here anymore, when I croak, she's going to throw them all out. So I may as well just,
Don't you think as well, when you've bought a book, there's a memory why you've bought the book, so there's an attachment. It's always easier for somebody else to come in and do whatever. I mean, when I'm cleaning my house, my house isn't a big house, as you know, and it can take me hours because I'll get sidetracked by some paperwork or a picture, or when I go into with my little cleaning business, especially when it was like 5 days a week, it's only once a fortnight now, one day once a fortnight. But when you go into somebody else's house, nothing's of interest to you. Do you know what I mean? So you can go through somebody else's house like so quick, but when it comes to your own, you never can, because you always get waylaid. So I think it's always easier to throw somebody else's stuff away because there's no attachment.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. And I'm giving them to charity. I'm not just throwing them out. So it's and again, it's funny how everything works out imperfectly, doesn't it? So we get these doorstep collections sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Here. There's one on Tuesday.
Oh wow.
So I've just messaged them, because they said just let us know if it's books, because they'll be heavy. I'm like, yeah, you got 6 boxes of books.
Bro.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's a good charity. So, it's a charity that I like to support. So it's, I haven't even got to put them in the car. Take them somewhere. So it's amazing. And it's also interesting that I had an out of the blue message today, actually, from an old friend of mine who fell out with me 7 years ago. I've worked out it is. Right. When I was in Australia. She's Australian. And I got this message explaining to me why we fell out. And she's basically told me that it's all my fault. And I just thought, wow, that's 7 years ago. Are you still holding on to that? Because I've let it go. Initially I was like really confused. I was a bit confused. I didn't know what the issue was. I kept asking what the issue was. I didn't know. And I thought, well, okay, there's nothing I can do about it, letting it go. That was done years ago. So for me, I'm just a little bit surprised that this has come out now. And I hear she's not been very well, so I don't know if that's got something to do with it. But often when somebody's not very well, they kind of try and release things and say, look, let's bygones be bygones. But basically, she was basically saying, this is all your fault. You did this, you did that, and I can't forgive it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't recall doing that. I don't think I did. I think actually that's certainly not my truth. But I'm not even going to, you know, I don't even think I'm going to enter into a conversation with it, because it's just,
no,
it's
because
7 years ago.
yeah, and what's the point? That's what she believes, and she can't let it go. So the fact that she can't let it go, I thought you was going to say she sent you a message saying, "Oh, can't wait to see you, and let's just forget it, like let's start fresh." And that is so sad, isn't it? That somebody, and I mean, it's not like she sees you every week, or you know.
No, and I don't know if she's got wind of me going again soon. But that's, I won't be visiting you. I haven't the last twice. I mean, I haven't seen her the last twice. I went to, at least twice, maybe 3 times I went to Australia. So it's like, it's okay. I'm not bothered. I'm not. But I've released it, and I did think initially, well, maybe I should go back, and I thought, you know what, I don't even want to enter into a conversation, because that's not what happened, is that the way I see it. But also I don't see the point, because it's just, I don't want to open a conversation about it. I don't feel the need, and I hope she's all right and she can let it go now that she's told me it's all me. And I'm happy to take the blame. I don't mind.
No, well, this
I
is
forgive myself, because
I mean, it's a prime example, isn't it, of, you know, what's in the past, leave it in the past. It's you can't do anything about it, you know. And the thing is, I sometimes think it's easier to hang on to something than it is to let it go. Because when you let something go, it's as if what you're letting go you miss. Does that make sense?
Yes, because you're used to it. Whether, even if it's something that doesn't serve you,
yes,
you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah.
And it becomes, you know, not necessarily a habit, but it certainly, you get used to something being there.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, whether it's, and that could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be something really little, like a bad habit.
Yeah. It's easier to just give in and keep doing, or putting up with what you're putting up with and carrying the burden of the past, than letting it go. Because to let it go is, it can be quite major, obviously, depending what you're releasing. And I should imagine, when it's something major, then the way around it is to release it bit by bit, is to be less angry, less upset, sending it, whatever it was, more love.
Yes, I do think, oh, yeah, it's so, it is really interesting, isn't it? Because I gave up a job that, and I know certain people would have thought I was absolutely crazy to give up a well-paid, secure job. But I knew that I had to release that job. I had to, and it was definitely one of the best things I ever did. But I got friends of mine who are still in a post similar, who hate it and complain about it every time I see them, and I'm just like, then you need to resolve. Yeah, but I can't, because okay. But it is that, it's almost, you know, arguing for your limitations, because that's what you end up doing. Same with relationships. People say they're not happy in relationships, but they're still in the relationship. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, actually, having a conversation, and saying, she was saying that, you know, I said, to be honest with you, I said, if I was going to have a relationship, it would have to have massive value to my life. Well, that sort of relationship doesn't exist, she said to me. And I said, well, in that case, then I'm happily single. Yes. Because I'm not prepared to give up a freedom if it doesn't add massive value to my life.
But isn't that sad, that her opinion is that a relationship couldn't add massive value to your life? Because it depends on what you're talking about value. If you're looking for happiness for somebody else to bring you that happiness, no, they're not. But if you're looking for a companion to do things with and grow with that companion and be part, then yeah, there are. I mean, but life's not perfect, and nothing, excuse me, nothing's perfect. But it is, I think that is such a sad statement.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes, because I know this person's in a relationship and it isn't particularly happy, but is talking about buying a property with this person, and but this person is a person who I've known for many years, since our children were little, and I've never known her alone. Never.
Right.
It's literally one relationship to the next, and she's one of these people that cannot be, or will not be, on her own.
Yeah. Wow.
But that's and I think it's maybe releasing that need to look outside you, because it is about, like, releasing the need to look outside yourself for happiness is a big one, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like that post I put for Valentine's Day. It's great, but if you don't love yourself, what's the point in buying flowers for somebody else, or chocolates, or taking them out for a meal or anything? Because you're trying to make them, love you, aren't you? It's the release of knowing that you are incredible, that you're not going to bring yourself down, isn't it? Because that's what we're led to believe, that we should have this negativity, and trying to release that negativity is absolutely, I think it's one of the hardest things that you have to do, to be honest.
Yes, and I think along with releasing that negativity, we need to accept responsibility for our own part in things that have happened in our lives, which again is releasing the blame. Because it's not about blaming ourselves or blaming anybody. It's about saying, I contributed to that.
Yes. Yeah. And did I act in a fair manner? Was I kind? Was I nice? I always think about something. He said, Wayne Dyer, about if you can't be kind, if somebody says something to you that you don't agree with, rather than saying to them, no, I don't be kind, and just say, all right, okay, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Even though deep down you don't agree with them, you're not causing them any anguish, and in the same respect, you're not causing yourself any anguish, are you?
Yeah.
But it's so easy to, I mean, I look back on so many things and I think, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have reacted that way, And
I think often it is that releasing the need to be right.
Yeah.
Because actually, when I think about going back, if I go back to my friend who's reached out to me to tell me it's all my fault, the only reason I would be replying would be to say, actually, it wasn't my fault.
No.
But I don't need to do that.
No.
Because she believes it was, and that's, I can take that on the chin. Doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
No.
And would if I'm really honest, the only reason I would be going back to this person is to have the last word and to be right. And I'm like, I don't need to be.
No.
Especially if she's ill. I've heard that she's ill, and if you want to put that onto me, I can take it. I've got broad shoulders, and I can just, it's okay.
Yeah, because that's it, isn't it? The friendship is not worth the anguish it's still going to cause her, because at the end of the day, she believes it's your fault. And unless you go and say, I'm sorry, and go over it all again, which is what she wants, and it's not worth it, Hilary. You've got to let it go, haven't you, and move on, release it.
Absolutely. And I remember at the time apologising, not knowing what I was apologising for, but it's kind of saying, I'm so sorry, whatever has happened, if I've done something, I apologise.
Mm.
And so actually, I feel that I already have apologised, even though I didn't know what it was for. So I'm not, I'm a bit confused. Anyway, yeah, so I do think I just have to release that need to be right, because it doesn't matter.
No, but I think.
And I know Abraham Hicks often say, don't they, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yeah, and I think you've already done that by the fact that by the way you've moved on from it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I hope so.
You're not trying to prove that you weren't, that it wasn't you, that it was her. You just like, okay.
Yeah, and I don't actually necessarily think there was anything that she did, but I do feel that some of the stuff that's been said has been fabricated, or maybe changed in conversation. You know, like Chinese whispers, because it was from somebody else and stuff. And there's obviously been a miscommunication somewhere.
Yeah,
we could put it down to that. But what's the point? 7 years is a long time.
It's a long time. And like I say, it's not like she's a massive part of your life, is it? You know?
No.
You know, if it was like your daughter or you know.
Absolutely, it'd be very different.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's interesting, and it is, and also, like, when you talk about release, it could just be the release of that desire. You almost have to not care about you getting that desire, and it will come.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Or particularly releasing the how.
Yeah. And the thing is, you notice the little things that come because you think about them, and they arrive, and it's only like perhaps sometimes at the time you don't realize that that's what you put out there that you would like, and then all of a sudden the penny drops and gosh, I asked for this. Because it was not a major important thing for you, you don't put the how to it. But anything that's major, the how's automatically there.
Yes. And you try and control how it happens. Yeah.
And I think that more so with money than with anything else. I can get a bit like wound up about how's tomorrow going to pan out, because I've got this, do that, and I can say just let it go, and I can let it go. But when I put when I do it with money, there's always that, well, where's it going to come from? How's it going to get? Because and especially when you're retired, it's not like you're going to be offered a job kind of thing. Well, you could be offered a job, but do you know what I mean? It's not like you'll get offered some overtime.
Yeah.
You know. But it's funny how if you do let it go, because I've done it a few times, and over the last couple of months as well, I've thought, God, I need X amount of pounds, let's say 15 quid. And I've let it go. And then the next minute I've got 15 quid.
Yeah.
Wow. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome that little things like that happen.
It's putting that trust and that faith and the releasing the how when it's a bigger thing.
Yes, absolutely. That's the key to getting a castle instead of a button.
Yes, yeah. It is.
Yeah, releasing that resistance, and that's what it's all about. That's what all this, everything that we do is about, releasing resistance, isn't it? Well, everything that happens that we don't like is resistance based.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's why Abraham talked about step the steps, don't they? Like the 1 is you ask, the 2 is nothing you could do, 3 is lining up with it, and then that step 4 is that one where you're okay with being in step 1, because we are going to be in step 1.
I never, you know, it's funny, but I used to listen when I'm on the treadmill. I've got a, like, I don't know, but it's something that goes in the treadmill, and music or whatever comes out the other end, and I downloaded, well, my stepson-in-law downloaded Abraham Hicks and Les Brown and a few others. Zig Ziglar, he makes me laugh, Zig Ziglar. And I'd be on the treadmill and I listen. And at first, when I started listening to Abraham Hicks and she was saying about step 1, I'm thinking, step one, what is she going on about? Step 1. And now I think, well, my God, you know, I understand the steps now. And it's funny, at first I thought, I can't listen to this because I don't understand. But
yeah,
take the time and let go of the negativity that this is for me. Again, releasing all that. And it's amazing once it starts to come together, and once you start to understand it and you start putting it into practice, it's amazing what how far you come and how you grow from it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is incredible.
And again, that's a form of releasing, isn't it? Releasing the negativity behind it, because you don't get it at first, you know, or it doesn't work. You know, you've asked for a sunny day and it's pouring with rain.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it is all about release, and it's, yeah, we could talk about this for hours, couldn't we? Because it's such a big subject.
Definitely.
But we'll start more. We'll be back next week talking about. Have we decided next week?
Not decided. No, we've not decided.
So it'll be a nice surprise. But we'll be back for a quick chat next week in here, won't we? And
we will, 7:30 UK time on Thursday.
Yes. And we will see you next week. And we're going over to our other group now to do our mastermind, which is going to be exciting. All right, so I will stop sharing.